Alright guys, today is something totally different. If you've never watched any of my content before, these are not the kind of cars that I normally make videos on. I'm normally doing videos on old Holdens, Falcons, Australian motoring, that kind of thing. And I am not a fan of electric cars. They don't really do it for me. I don't think they make too much sense in Australia. But I haven't tried one before, and there was a situation where I've needed to rent a car, and I thought, you know what, I might as well rent a Tesla, rent something that I don't like, and maybe it can open up my mind a little bit. And that's, you know, that's the best way to grow. So all I'm going to do in this video is just have a quick walk around. I'm not going to be doing a proper review of this car because there's a million videos of this on the internet. I just thought that I would give my opinion of what's going on, because I'm a bit of a bogan. I like Aussie cars, I like V8s, I don't like new cars, and I don't like electric cars, but here we are. So the very first thing that I'm not a fan of is the indicator stalk. Now this is a Model 3, a 2023 Model 3, and it has nothing, no indicator stalk at all. You actually change or indicate by pressing these buttons. I don't like that, because sometimes, you know, if you've got your hands on the wheel and you're all over the place, you got to find the yeah, I don't like that at all. Next thing as well is when I picked it up from the joint where I rented it from, I didn't know how to put it into park, or sorry, I didn't know how to put it into drive. I didn't know how to drive it. I am pretty impressed though with the responsiveness of this entire tablet. It is really responsive, and I don't know if you guys have used these before in a lot of these kind of cars, but sometimes they're all slow and sludgy. I would make a strong argument though that this is just as distracting as being on your phone, because it is not, you know, things are not big to touch. It's fine when you're parked up like this, but when you're actually on the road, it's not great. So obviously I won't be playing any music, so we'll turn that all the way down. But anyway, this is how you put it into drive. So you just slide. Oh, I put my foot on the brake. Oh, and my seat's just moving. As you can see, I'm still getting pretty used to it. Oh, there you go. There's the reverse camera. The reverse cameras are extremely good, I will give it that. But we'll be putting on to that. So another thing that I actually really like is that is a little wireless charger for my phone there. That is excellent. I really like that. I don't have that obviously in my old VS Commodore. So yeah, it does take some getting used to the silence. That is something new for me. And also when you're driving and you take your foot off the brake, it's like someone is putting their foot on the brake for you. All right, so it kind of feels like, you know, I've been in lots of VS Commodores that people have had to push while I'm driving. That's kind of what it feels like, if I'm honest. Again, I'm not going to bother doing a review on this car, right, because so many people have done those. I'm sure if you're interested in these cars, you've already watched it. I'm not going to do that. I don't really know enough about them, but I just thought that I would share my perspective of what it's like. So yeah, I have to go on a highway, because that is one of the biggest draws of this car, is just how quick it is. And now I'm not an electric car guru. Not a big fan, but this is one thing that is absolutely undeniable about these cars. This thing is brutally fast, and you have that drop in your stomach. It is crazy. I've only driven this once. Again, I've not even been up to 100 k's an hour, but it is brutally fast, and I'm probably not going to be able to you know what, I'll make sure I get a good run. But it is nice, I have to admit, and it's painful to admit, it is nice to drive a newer car every now and then. Again, these are very expensive cars now. It's tricky, you know. I mean, my daily is a VS Commodore with 500,000 k's on it. This thing is, now I'm just going to drive it normally and everything, but I'm not sure how I feel about the minimalism and having the dash over here and the little speedo right up in the corner. It just kind of feels like the speedo is a bit almost like an afterthought. I love the wireless charger. I do wish that there was some way that my VS could have that. I do wrong, speaking of VS suits. So I've actually, it wasn't as expensive to rent this car. I actually rented it through Turo. Now, I'm not affiliated with them in any way, but it was only like $50 more than renting a Toyota Corolla. Renting this, and you know, nothing wrong with the Corolla, but it was much more exciting, I think, to do something like this and just make it a bit of an event, because this is so different than the cars that I normally drive. And I have to admit, it has opened up my mind to these cars. I can definitely 1,000,000% understand the appeal. And actually, I was parked at a service station, and a bloke, he was probably in his 70s, come over, and he was a mechanic, and he said he'd never seen one so up close before. And I actually opened up the doors and the frunk, or whatever you call it, and he had a bit of a look. And that's what these cars are. You know, they do draw a bit of attention, and yeah, it is easy to see why. Oh, I love to go on a highway. I'm itching. There's a truck just with a big load of pallets on the back there. I have to admit though, if I was daily driving one of these, I think it would be a matter of time before I lost my license, because I don't believe that I have the self-control that it would take to do the right thing all the time. Right, so I'm going to try and come to a reasonably complete stop. Oh, it's not really that safe, but whoa. I'm sorry if I'm making stupid noises. It is totally involuntary. I mean, that wasn't even full throttle, and my stomach, sorry, that feeling in your stomach, you know, if you're going on a roller coaster or whatever. We've actually kind of missed the on-ramp. Thought I was going on the highway there. Might just do a U-turn. Now, this is not how, you know, most people would drive these cars. And I guess one of the problems with electric cars is that a lot of them are like this. They're like luxury cars. And I mean, this is very nice to drive. It's a luxury car. This is more in competition with a, I don't know, like a Ferrari or something, rather than a Toyota Corolla. Ferrari's probably a bit... That is genuinely addicting. God, it's fun to drive. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of what electric cars stand for and all that crap, but I tell you what, it is bloody quick. It is nothing like I've ever driven in my entire life. The torque is just insane, and it's linear. You know, it's there straight away. That is really weird though. I don't know if you guys just saw, I stopped about 3 meters ahead of the mark there, and yeah, but again, it is very, very cool. You know, it's got all of the gear. One thing that's really weird is it's sort of mapping the cars as you drive, as you can see there. You can see all the cars behind me and everything. If you guys don't know, I've got a few people looking at me there. I do have a camera hanging in front of my face, so every time you do any of these videos, oh yes, good opportunity. So this is completely legal. All right. Oh. Whew. Okay, sorry about that. I do have to concentrate when I'm doing that, because again, it's really not like anything that I've done before. It is insanely quick, this thing. Very, very fast. Very easy to go a bit quicker than you need to. And one thing about this particular one, Teslas as well, I mean, I do have a few charge stations, and one of the things that when I rented this car I was a bit worried about, because you know, when you drop a rental off, you just fill it up with fuel and then you drop it off, you know, to a normal station or whatever, and it's got a full tank. Well, that's a little bit harder with an electric car because it takes a while to charge and everything. But what I ends up doing is paying an extra like 50 bucks or something, and then I can just drop it pretty much empty as long as it's got 10%. I think that that's much easier, much more convenient, because I can charge it at home, but then I've got to drive it back to the depot and drop it off, and yeah, much trickier. But these are really, really fun cars to drive, and I have to admit, it has opened up my experience of this car. Sorry, what am I trying to say? It has opened up my mind to it, and I think that that's important when you're driving car, and it's not just cars, when you're trying new things. You know, it's important to challenge your beliefs and try new things, because I admit that I was probably a bit wrong about these cars, and I don't know what a new one's worth, maybe 60, 70 grand, something like that. Again, for the speed of this thing is just ridiculous. It is hard to convey across camera because there's no noise or anything. All you're seeing is a number going up and me making stupid noises. But yeah, really, really cool experience. I'm really glad that I decided to rent it, and what I might do actually is I'll pull over soon and just quickly give you a view of the outside of the car. But I mean, you've probably seen it a million times. I'm not going to go too much into that. I sort of more just wanted to share my thoughts about this car, because everybody knows what a Tesla is. They're not exactly rare, but I've never driven one, and I thought that maybe you guys would be interested in a total Bogan car bloke's perspective. I do like the huge screen, I have to admit. It does at least suit. I do love the charger. But yeah, something different. Alright, so I've finally found a spot to pull over. And actually another thing that I'm not the biggest fan of is there's no like actual switch. You just press this button, and again, this car and me renting it is not about huge money or anything. You know, you've already seen a Tesla a million times, so I'm not going to be showing off too much about that. It was more just about my thoughts, but yeah, there it is. I really hope that you guys enjoyed watching. I know that it's something a little bit different. This is not going to be really a regular thing. It was just a one-off, and I just thought that I'd share my views, you know, of a Tesla, of something different, something that I'd never experienced before. And I don't know if I'd own one. I still have, even now, a bit of range anxiety, and I just am constantly looking at the battery percentage, and I don't know if I'd want that as an everyday thing. But it has opened my eyes, and I can understand why people buy these. They are really, well, it's fun to drive. It is, and there's no point pretending that it's not, because it is. It's like being on a roller coaster. You get that pit in your stomach, and yeah, I've really enjoyed having it. I do have it for the rest of the day, and I'll be driving probably a couple 100 Ks in it. So yeah, cool to try something different. But don't worry, this is not going to become a Tesla channel. This is a one-off. Most of the cars are just going to be exactly what you've been used to, all the Holdens, Fords, all that kind of stuff. So if they are your kind of videos, please follow along, and thank you for watching.